This is going to be a short video, a sort of prologue to the video that I'm producing. The video I'm making right now is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode tier list. This video here will just help you get a general idea about how I feel about the show, since the only way I'm going to be able to talk about this show is if I talk about every single episode, and I am going to do that, and it's probably going to take me some time. But I've already finished ranking them so far. I'm just writing about them all right now. Other than that, I'm gonna go over like maybe 2 or 3 things just really quick about why I love this show and why I think other people should watch the show. So here is why you should watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's kind of broad, but what I mean by that is that there's more to this show than just the vampires and fighting the forces of darkness. There is a lot of themes and symbolism that are adapted into a charming supernatural teen drama that had its rough points at its start, but eventually it grew into something that was way better than anyone could have imagined, I think, for it to become, starting off as a not so great movie back in '92. So it's a show about growing up, and as we watch Buffy grow up from high school to college to getting a job and facing all the complications that everyday people go through, only a lot of her complications are connected to the supernatural, because she's a slayer. She is the one girl in all the world that is there to fight the forces of darkness, and it comes with a price because she has to sacrifice a lot of her time as a youth doing a lot of adult stuff when it comes to responsibility. What makes it even better is that that responsibility starts off being the Slayer side of things, and we start to see a shift more from Buffy being more upset about Slayer activities to she becomes more upset with life, because life above all else will throw the hardest curveballs, which is a great theme of the show. And the main thing for what the show is about is that there is a lot to learn from it. Where do I start? I'm not going to go into detail about all of them, but I will focus on Buffy, Xander, and Willow, and a little bit of Giles, I guess. But at some point in the series, you may find yourself relating to a character that is going through things that you may have found yourself going through. And for me, this is the realization that watching Buffy helped me go through some of the situations that I've had to go through in life. For the most part, I relate to Buffy and Xander the most, both for very different reasons. There's a lot that you can relate to with just Buffy. Being new at school, going to college, growing up. I appreciate Buffy's journey a lot more now, because realizing that what she was going through when I was too young to really understand it is what I eventually would be going through when it came to college and growing up and all of that stuff. Buffy's character is more than just her fighting things and being kick-ass and badass. She's like a role model to me, because all the extra stuff thrown at her in life, you know, she puts up with it while she's dealing with real life stuff, and it's just something that I can relate to in a certain way when it comes to my health issues. Willow is another great character. She is the shy character that breaks out of her shell, comes out as, what I interpreted at first was she was, you know, gay, but I think that she is actually more bi, and the show was already pushing it back in that day, and this was the show that, you know, pushed boundaries like that with Willow's character, but I think that personally that she is bisexual. That's just my interpretation, I don't know. But she also goes through addiction, recovery. She has a lot of great stuff that you get to see her overcome, and not to mention she's one of the most badass characters. Xander goes through a lot of stuff, and he's the hardest character to watch in terms of how well he's aged. But I also relate to Xander in a way. And I do agree that Xander's actions at times and beliefs and mindset hasn't aged well. And I believe that most people don't give him as much credit as I think he should get. But a lot of this growth and change is seen mostly in season 7, so it is really later on in the show that it's shown prevalent and all that. My only issue is that I don't like that I was like him in certain ways, making off-color jokes, not being able to understand how to be appropriate around certain situations. I grew up a lot from that, and realizing that I was like that makes me a little more harder on Xander, but his character growth is there, and there's a lot to relate to when it comes to actually becoming an adult. Anyway, that's just a little defense for Xander, I guess. The 3 main Scoobies that are in the show, they are wonderful and beautifully fleshed out characters over 7 years of great storytelling. While I think that the deeper meaning behind the show's themes and symbolism is what makes the show most important to me, but it's also an entertaining show. If you can get through season 1 and about halfway through season 2, I will admit that I have a really huge bias for the first season alone and the campier sides of season 2, because I love how goofy the early days of the show could be and how charming the personality of it was. It really felt like it was tackling high school drama in unique and fun ways. The show has a lot of personality that continues to grow and become more mature over the years, and it's great to see it, and it's entertaining to see it happen. Also, Buffy is now at its 25th anniversary, and it's inspired teen dramas to this day. You know, shows like Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, Teen Wolf. I'm pretty sure a lot of those showrunners and creators are on record of saying that Buffy was a huge inspiration. Now that I understand pop culture a little better and have seen sort of the impact that Buffy has had on the teen drama landscape, you know, a lot of people can give props to Buffy for that, and I'm happy to see that people still do. And I'm happy to see that the actors that were a part of the show still love and appreciate the show. But going back to what the show's actually about, even though with the supernatural element to Buffy, the show keeps it mostly grounded and rarely goes over the top. And when it does, it's for usually comedic effect. The example I will say is Once More with Feeling is a case where they wanted to do a musical, so they did, and accepting that the ridiculousness that in this world, yeah, there's a demon that can do that. You know, it's something that I kind of just enjoy. And if I were to say one last thing about the entertainment value, is that the writing usually hits all the time, in all the categories. There's some bad, but there is a lot of good, and the good is really good. Character interactions, fantastic. So look at this video as like a prologue to the video that I'm currently making, a episode tier list. Even though the tier list is just a way for me to talk about Buffy in the only way that I feel like I'll be able to be happy with it is just talking about every single episode individually. If you're interested in watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, if this video managed to convince you, you can watch Buffy on Hulu. You can order the series on Amazon, probably stream it on Amazon. You might have to buy it, but you can probably get physical copies. If you're into that, I have physical copies. Try to avoid the Buffy HD edition. It really takes away from the cinematic vision of the show's director of photography that he had for the show, being shot in 4x4. I know Hulu streams it, and I'm not sure if anywhere else does, but if I do, I'll leave links in the description. If you enjoyed this video, I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the Supernatural video. Thank you if you came over from Reddit. That was like a shot in the dark for me to post it there, and I gained about 4, 5, 6 subscribers, which means the world to me, and I appreciate it. Thank you for all the comments on the video. Thank you for leaving likes. I appreciate it. I don't know how to check my dislikes, so I don't know if anyone's disliked it. If you did, I'm sorry. You can watch some of my older videos if you're a fan of Tarantino. I have a lot of movie reviews when I was trying to do that. That was cool. If you want to subscribe, feel free to. Things to look forward to: a Buffy the Vampire Slayer tier list. Probably I'm gonna try and get it out this year because I want to do it for the 25th anniversary, but I might not be able to. But in honor of its 25th anniversary, I will upload this because I love the show and you should watch it. Then watch my video. Turn the notifications on. Anyways, thank you for watching and appreciate it. I will see you in the next video, whenever that is.